Hello everyone, it's Trophy Hunter here. Today I'm going to actually be showing you how to take a 3D model that is complete with textures and put it into GTA 5 because a lot of people have been having issues where your gun's sideways and when you shoot it immediately crashes the game. I had that issue myself and I was pulling my hair out until I figured out the easy solution to it. But a lot of people have been asking how you get, the custom models in the game. A lot of people have been putting a lot of custom models in the game. There's like, I'd say 4 people that have been really putting up a lot of models. Like Proud Noob 4's definitely been putting up a lot. And Forrest has been putting up a bunch as well. I've put up 2 so far. But alright, so first things first, I'm going to place all the required files that you need to download. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to link the website. This Konata, if I'm saying your name wrong, sorry. He was the one that posted this worded tutorial on how to do so. It's really good. It's just that I'm a visual learner, so I would prefer a video. So I'm just gonna be showing you basically all of these steps in video format, and then I'm even gonna be showing you in game. And I'm purposely going to make the gun not quite in the spot where I want it so that I can show you how to adjust the position. Now I'm going to link this website in the description so that you have access to all these links to download all of the tools necessary. Unfortunately, hopefully in the future we get an update to like GIMS or something so that we can import the open formats of all these files. That would be nice, because then they could probably include the bones and the skin modifier so that we could skin our models so that it would be properly animated. But that's the future. That's hopefully that happens down the road. So to start, I just copied all my tools into this one folder. I called it Master Tools. In here is FiveM. I installed FiveM to this location. I also copied all the shaders from the common folder here. Copy these 3 things to the citizen here. Make a folder called shaders and just put them in here. Okay, once that's done, make sure you go to the spot where all the weapons are, which is under GTA 5 Update, X64 DLC packs, Patch Day 3, NG, and then DLC RPF, X64, models, CD images, and weapons. I will also be putting the stock weapons.rpf file in the description so that if you mess up, you can just have that. And I have... where is it? Of course, my MTAR. Love this dang thing. It's my favorite weapon in Battlefield. But today I'm actually going to be taking the PP2000 and I'm going to replace the micro SMG because they are fairly similar in that you hold it here and the trigger's directly there, and the clip it also goes in the handle, which is the same with this. You want to try to find a replacement that works the best, as good as you can possibly make it. Like, you look for similarities in the models, is what I'm saying, so that it makes it more realistic when you're actually handling the weapon. Now, of course, in Battlefield 4, when you fire, this here goes back and forth. That is not possible until we get the skin. We are able to skin the models and then export them. Can't wait for that. I'll be doing a tutorial on how to do that, I'm sure. Alright, so you have everything copied to a folder. It could be on your desktop or anywhere. You want to start with the high poly model. So it's going to say blah 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 and then the weapon name underscore high.ydr. You want this file, and then you drag it into the converter folder. Just delete those. Drag it in here, and then you want to run this exe, and it will convert them into a DFF file, and that's the file that you want to open in 3ds Max. So we're going to go to 3ds Max, and when you import it, it's going to be like a tiny little thing. So you go install your Kams GTA scripts, and then go over to the utilities tab, which is the little hammer. And when you have this opened up, just click on the plus for import DFF, and I check the A and then import, and I've already selected the folder that I converted the diff in, so here it is, and open, and it's in here. It's on 0. It's right there. It's really small. So what we have to do is rotate our weapon. I'm gonna turn on angle snap, and it's got to be rotated this way, 90 degrees, and then it's got to be scaled way down, probably right about there. Yeah, it's pretty close, and we gotta move it. I'm actually going to change the pivot point on this because it's like over by the stock and I can't really see what's going on. So I'm gonna move it, and it's looking like our model's a little bit big still, so we're gonna scale it down more. And you just want to get it as close to possible as the original model, lining things up. The most important thing to line up is the sight, because that's what you're obviously going to be looking through in first person mode. And the best way to do that is, what I like to do is try to get the gun. I think I'm actually going to make the stock shorter. What I'll do is scale up the main bit of the gun so that it more or less fits, and I'll just make this shorter. So right about there is probably pretty good. And you also have to take into consideration that it's probably going to clip in his hand. So I'm going to try to move that up a little bit. I might also move this down a little bit, but we'll see. I hope I don't have to. Okay. Now also change your viewport clipping so that you can zoom in really close without it clipping through the model. Alright. I'm going to save this out again. So our sight is not exactly where we want it. As you can see, it's it's a little bit off. So this is where we can decide, do we want to scale our sight up? Or do we just want to scale the weapon up I might do that. Just a little bit more. Get her into position. Trying to get it as close as possible. Looks like the backside's gonna have to go up, probably. Maybe. Because that's more or less in the center of that circle. And that looks like it lines up pretty well. I'll check in the perspective, or the right view you want to go into is left. It'll be looking at the gun from the back, and we can zoom in, and we can get an idea of where the sight is. So it looks like, yep, right there's gonna be pretty good. So that's, it's looking like where it's going to be, and I'm most certainly gonna have to modify this. That's gonna clip. Unfortunately, they're not quite the same weapon, so obviously. I'm actually going to leave this down here. I'm going to modify the sights. I want this to be as close as possible down here. So then we'll just take the gun, and I'm going to select a bit of this with Vertex, and I'll just shorten this down to about here, or wherever this starts. And that's looking pretty good. So then what I'll do is I'll take this and hide it. All right. And now what I'm going to have to do is modify the sight, because it's not going to reach. So you want to try to take vertices that would be on an angle, and we can push these up, or rather we can push these up. I just like it. Ah, gosh darn hidden vertices. Alright. Now what I want to do is unhide all so that we can see the sight, which is way the hell up there. Just wanna you wanna pull this up. Also gonna have to fix the texture because it's going to be really stretched. But the stock texture is not going to like that. So we want to try to get this centered. I would probably put it like that, so it's lined up in the center. Alright. And then we'll spin around to the front. And this one's going to be the tricky one. I think what I'm going to do is select all of these vertices here. We'll see how this looks. Alright, no, that's not gonna work. So I'll select or deselect those and reselect those. Yeah, that looks like it's gonna work. Yeah, that'll work. Alright, and then I'll just edit that so it's a little different. And we'll just stretch this out. It's the one thing that I really hate to do is stretch the geometry, but don't really have a choice. So we just want to get that little pin, that little end vertex to be right about at the end. And that should do it. And this will now look very strange, but we'll fix it. It's going to be a slightly modified PP2000, but it'll work. It doesn't look horrible. Oop, where'd we go? Alright. Yeah, so I'm just gonna fix this. Just so it looks a little bit better. So what I'm probably actually going to do is move these up. That'll probably look a little bit better. Move these up to where they were. Make them a nice circle. Yeah, that's a much better idea. All right. That looks good. Now what I want to do is actually look at this gun with the texture on it. See how bad it's stretching. Hard to say with this. Maybe I'll try the normal map. Render it out. Surprisingly doesn't look that bad. If you can avoid doing this at all, please do so. But that looks like it's gonna be okay. So these sights should be lined up very nicely for a first person. So we don't have to do any more of that. What we're gonna do, get it back to that. And what we're gonna do is unhide all. And now we're going to attach the PP2000 over the Uzi. So what we're going to do, select the vertices, do Control All, and then click the attach button here. And now we'll just select this PP2000 and hit OK, and then hit delete. And there it is. PP2000. I usually then go out and save another as 2, just because now it's not quite the same file. Alright, so now that that's done, what I'm going to do is we gotta open up GIMS IV, assuming you have that installed as well. Now I'm gonna go to Tools and then go to the Hierarchy Manager. And what you want to do is highlight the name here and then copy it and paste it here and then hit Assign. That does is it draws this green box. You need that for the model to export properly. Alright, and then what I'll do is hit the Convert Materials button. It should appear a little bit wider. And then you go to the Material Editor under the Tools tab, and you just should have one material. Multiple materials is not really complicated. It's just it's a thing you have to do before you attach the gun to the main gun you want to replace. So here's where we select our textures. Select the diffuse. That looks really nice. I think that's a 2K texture. What I usually do is decrease the specular mapping power a little bit. In this game, it's not as bad as in GTA 4. GTA 4 was extreme. And select the normal map. And that's all set. Then I'll save it again. And now all we gotta do is export it. So go up here to open Formats tab, and then click this little star here and uncheck Split Smooth Groups, and then hit Export. And you want to find the folder that you want to export it to. I created a folder in GTA 5 mod. I created a GTA 5 mods folder on one of my drives, just to make it a little bit easier on myself, and then I created a folder for it. Just select it and export. Sometimes that'll happen where it gets rid of the textures. It's alright. I always like to save before I export. All we have to do is just reopen. But I don't think we'll have to reopen it, because I think we won't have to reopen it because the model is properly adjusted to the other model's iron sights, so we should be fine. Now what I like to do is open up two windows here, for one inside the actual weapon folder where I place the ODR, and then one over here where mesh tools are. And you want to open up Open 4, but this time you want to choose GTA 4. Make sure you have GTA 4 on your system, or you can get an EXE. I will not link that. It's probably linked on that one guy's page on how to do this. So basically what I've done already is created an IMG here that I just use for testing my models and such. But what you want to do is select your ODR and drag it over with edit mode enabled, and it's going to import it. You'll be able to see your model here. Here's our model. Okay. And then what you want to do is drag the WDR over to the main folder where you've installed FiveM and the other FiveM UI. Just drag it in there. What I've done is put a CMD in here so that it would automatically put me to the folder. And I'll show you what you have to put in there. You have to copy this bit of text. I'll put that in the description so you don't have to. And then of course the name of the file you want to change, and then just put .wdr and then hit enter, and it'll convert it to a YDR. I usually minimize that because you're going to probably be using it a few times. And now you want to go back to the original GTA5 and drag it on over with edit mode enabled, of course. And then you want to go to the YTD, the texture directory, not the high one, just the regular one. And I'll just delete all the textures in here. Then go to import. And of course go back to where your textures are. And import them in. What I like to do is import the diffuse texture with the ARGB, but the ARGB with 8. It doesn't compress the texture as much, so that it gives it the best possible chance to look as good as it can. And I'll import the normal map and the specular map with the XT5, and then hit save. If it says not responding, it's fine, it's just saving. And there you go, and then you can go back to your model and look at it with the textures. It's looking pretty good. Wish we didn't have to extend the sights up, but fortunately they just had to. It still looks like a PP2000. Slightly modified PP2000. The mini stock. Alrighty. Now we're gonna go look at this in game. Gun. Although it won't be, actually, because we've replaced it. So it should be the micro SMD slot, and it is. Oh yeah, that lines up real good. Yeah.
I'm out of ammo.
The only problem is, of course, the hand going through the grip when he's holding it. That's unfortunate. The other option would have been to replace the AP pistol, which I
People say I'm a disgrace to society.
do. As you can see, looks pretty nice in his hand. Just unfortunately.
What the? Reloading.
It is also actually really cool that he reloads the gun the way he does. Because it looks like he pushes the little thing back. Little reloading mechanism. So we had a bit of a problem with the PP2000's trigger guard. Slightly clipping through the hand here. So, what I'm going to do is modify it slightly. The position of it is good. It doesn't need to be changed. Just this bit here. What I'm going to try to do is stretch this bit out to probably somewhere around here. The problem is going to be, of course, selecting all the bits that I want. Want that. Don't want that. That. And that. That. So yeah, we gotta select all the vertices that we want to move. This is the hard part. I'd say want this stuff here. And let's move this and see how it looks. Might have to grab these up here. So yeah, I would definitely consider grabbing this here, this here, good, and all of these here, and on the other side. So that when we pull it, it pulls somewhat uniformly. Just maybe wanted to extend it out to the end of the barrel. Maybe not quite that far, maybe just to the end of that. What I'm going to do now is save out another copy. I'm going to call it 3 with these selected. And actually going to push select these and those and pull these back a little bit, as well as most of those. Push that back a little bit and pull it up. And select these. And pull these back a little bit. Just to get a nice curve. So we of course had to stretch this entire thing quite a bit. Now I'm going to save this out again as 4. So that we can see what we've done. Hopefully that works. Hopefully his hand clears it. If not, we'll have to push it out all the way to the end of the barrel. Which, of course, then makes this gun inaccurate to the actual gun in real life. But we gotta make it work for the game. That's a primary focus. The ideal thing would be to, like, maybe select this whole bit here, and then of course turbo smooth it or mesh smooth it using a certain method, maybe NURBS, and we can probably get more geometry to work with, make it a little bit smoother, although I think it'll be okay for what we want. So now I'm going to just go back to the place where you outputted the ODR and just delete them. and then re-export it before you do save it again, just to be sure. Export it. And now we're gonna go back to the GTA4 Open 4. Delete the old PP2000. And then just drag it over. And now in our mesh tools folder, delete both the WDR and YDR ones that we created before. Just drag it over. And this is why I kept the CMD open. All you have to do is hit the up arrow and enter again. You don't have to keep inputting this. And now we got the YDR. So all we have to do is just drag it over. And we didn't actually technically remove geometry, we just moved it. Of course, this seam right here is a little strange, but technically the gun already had it. What we've done is just greatly increase the space. Hopefully that his hand fits through. So let's just go back into the game and check. Okay. Let's see what we've done. Ooh. That looks like it might be good.
Fuck me!
Let's check third person. Can't really see. So what I'm gonna do is actually record a bit so that we can check it with a different camera. Alright, so it looks like this is going to have to be moved down slightly. So what we're going to definitely have to do is select these and probably, I'd say those minus those, and pull this down, give us some space. Now, of course, this is stretching the texture out, so we'll grab these and just try to compensate a little bit. Of course, you really don't see the grip. Anyways, but that looks like it'll be okay for us. And I will also select these, bring them down a little bit. I gotta fix this. This is looking funny. Okay. And then I just want to reselect all of these. Okay. And I just want to pull it forward a little bit more, like probably out to about here. that should be what we want. I'm also going to modify this a little bit. Just give it a little bit less of a chin, if you will. It's getting a bit strong. Okay. Make this a little thicker. Let's take a look-see. Yeah, that should envelop his hand quite nicely. Okay, we got a little bit of stretching on this. On this bit of text here. I gotta try to figure out. Good. It's doing nothing. It's probably in here. Yeah. Yep. It's the one thing you want to try to avoid. Unfortunately, they don't have any faces I can select. Or vertices I can select in here. Thank God you won't see those bits. It's kind of what happens when stuff gets stretched out a bit. Of course, we could go back and fix the UVW, but that even takes more time, so kinda just want to leave it, to be perfectly honest. This is like a highly modified PP2000, but it, you know, envelops the general idea that it is a PP2000. And this should not clip through the hand whatsoever. Of course, it's not exactly... I'll call it the Seth 1000. I'll call it the Seth 2000. It's definitely not stock anymore. Of course, we could go into the actual texture file and fix this crazy tearing, if you will. Which actually I'll look into. I'm trying to be professional about this. Alright, so it's here. And this half, and then going up. So it's straight, and then it angles. So you basically want to reverse that for this. What I'll do is just use the clone stamp tool. Make it a little smaller, and make sure the hardness is at 0. All layers good, and actually, I use the lasso tool. Oh, wait a minute. I think the best way to do this would be probably warping it. Just straight up warping it. The liquefy tool. Alright, we want it to be a little bit more powerful. Just gonna push the bottom up a little bit. Got a little bit smaller. Like so. It's a bit better. Just want to replace. Okay, so it pushed it up. However, the top isn't quite aligned. So the bottom needs to get pushed up and the top needs to get pushed up. Alright, let's see how that looks. A little bit better, not really though. But it'll have to do. That's good enough. Just want to make sure that you replace the views texture and the actual YTD, or else it won't work. All that change will be for nothing. Okay. Hopefully this is the last variation of this. It's like a mammoth hole right there. Everything else lines up quite nicely. And our texture isn't horrible. It's mostly straight across, and you could push up the bottom of the two a little bit. But I don't want to worry about that right at the minute. Just want to go into the game and see if your hand's still clipping through. This is a long process, but definitely worth it.
Josh, recording something. Hey, Josh.
Put your headphones on. Alright.
I'm out of ammo.
His hand is still clipping through. Slightly.
You bitches can fuck yourself. Reloading.
It's just a shame that we can't see this bit. Okay, well, in third person, it's actually pretty good. Actually doesn't look horrible. And of course, his hands glitching through the back there.